My home state of Nebraska doesn't have much going for it when it comes to amusement parks, or anything really. Peony Park closed in 1993, and Funplex got rid of Nebraska's only roller coaster in 2017 and then started putting their effort towards their water park. So, what do we have? Well, we have Husker football and the College World Series, the best zoo in the world, there's Runza, a never-ending number of potholes for you to drive your car into, and of course, corn. Miles and miles of corn. But just next door in our neighboring state of Iowa, it's a completely different story. Located next to Lake Okoboji is Arnold's Park, which features a classic wooden coaster, and Des Moines has Adventureland, a park with an elite coaster and monster. There is also a new park in this state. The Lost Island Theme Park is a brand new park located in Waterloo, which is about a 2-hour drive northeast of Des Moines. It opened in 2022 just across the road from the long-running and highly themed Lost Island Water Park. Having just made my first visit here, I have a lot to say about this park. Welcome to Ejector Airtime, and this is my review of Lost Island Theme Park. Before we get into it, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content, and also be sure to give this video a like as that'll really help against the YouTube algorithm. Lost Island covers an area of 90 acres with a layout that encircles a small lake. The park has a central theme of a fictional tropical island divided into 5 unique realms, each centered around a different element of nature. A group of spirits called the Tamariki are associated with each realm, and they maintain balance of the elements. These spirits can be found walking around the park and will even tell you the backstory of their realm. The 5 realms are as follows. Starting from the right side of the entrance and counterclockwise around the park, the first you encounter is Tamariki, which features a number of kids' rides and attractions. Next is the air realm called Udara, where a group of steampunk-style inventors are trying to restore a floating city that once floated over the island. This is followed by the realm called Awa, which is water-based. Next to this, in the back corner of the park, is the earth realm called Utah, which involves a tribe that came to live in balance with the forest and protect nature. Finally, there is the fire realm called Mura. This area is a village which was built on the edge of a volcano and is home to a group of spiritual warriors called the Mura Fire Clan, which help to protect the island from a fire demon called Volcano. Overall, the theming of each realm and the placement of all of the rides within each one was clearly thought out very well. One thing I noticed while up on the Ferris wheel was how each realm has the rides and pathways color coordinated to represent each realm, which is such an incredible touch. Let's talk about the 3 roller coasters in this park. In the kids area is a wacky worm clone called Lokolu, and I apologize if I butchered that name, but this is the pretty standard kids coaster that can be found all over the world. Nopuko Air Coaster is a Vekoma SLC which previously operated as Cobra at Ratanga World in South Africa before that park closed in 2018. Despite this coaster having been given the New Age Vekoma trains with vest restraints, I still found this coaster to be quite rough. The ride ops claim that the front is rougher than the back, but I did not enjoy the experience either way. Finally, the flagship coaster is the Intamin launch coaster Matugani. This compact coaster previously operated as Kanonen at Liseberg in Sweden. It uses a hydraulic launch to catapult riders to 46 miles per hour over a small top hat, a vertical loop, and an inline twist. I really like the snake design on the head of the train as well as on the front of the station. I also really like how you can walk directly under the top hat. For a coaster that spent a few years in storage, it still runs quite smooth, and I found the launch to be surprisingly forceful. For a park that's just getting started, this is a pretty solid set of coasters to open with. In addition, the park features a decent variety of flat rides, both gentle and thrilling. The most impressive of which is Volcano, Quest for the Golden Idol, which is a 3D shooting dark ride. This ride features a great pre-show, and movements of the cars and the screens line up exceptionally well. This is one of the most impressive rides of its type. I was also surprised to find a pre-show on the SNS Drop Tower. A couple of rides were not ready in time for the opening season in 2022. This included Matugani, which had to wait due to a shipping delay on a missing part. The log ride called Utah Falls was also not ready in time as a part of the Q building caught fire during construction. Now that it is open, it's definitely one of the most impressive rides in the park. I really liked the spinning water wheel they have in the archway next to the highest peak of the ride. Being two of the signature attractions at the park, the delays of these two rides likely played a major part in what might be the biggest problem with this park at the moment, and that is attendance. From what I've read, Lost Island had to end its first season early last year due to low attendance as well as a lack of staffing. I have no idea how much attendance has improved throughout the course of this year, but I will say that on my visit, which took place on a Friday afternoon in the first week of August, the park was the emptiest I've ever seen a park. Not a single ride had a line. I was able to experience Matugani 3 times in a row without getting off. I was the only person on the coaster each time, and when I came back, there wasn't anyone else waiting in the station. With how hot it was on my visit, I can definitely understand why more people would be spending the day at the water park. But to see an amusement park so deserted and a parking lot not even a quarter of the way full in the middle of summer is very surprising to me. Hopefully as the park grows and expands, we will start to see more people coming through the gate. There is plenty of space around this park for it to expand, but this will only happen if more people start coming to check out this park. Going back to the employees at the park, I was very impressed with the staff I interacted with. On my visit, all rides and games were fully staffed, and every single one of them was very friendly and informative. They also displayed a level of energy and commitment to the attraction that they were at, to the extent that I would go so far as to say I felt like they were more than just ride operators, almost on par with Disney cast members. I say this because they all welcomed you to the ride you were about to experience, and some would even tell you a little bit of the details related to the backstory of the ride you were about to go on. I didn't get to try much of the food options in the park, but having looked in both of the main restaurants, I was impressed by both the variety and the price of their different options. On the menus, I saw burgers, barbecue pork, chicken strips, coconut shrimp, fish and chips, salads, and mac and cheese, which had a few variations on their toppings. I thought the mac and cheese was pretty good, and for only $4, you got a decent amount. There were also snack stands in the park, and I was very pleased to find that they served pineapple Dole Whip, which if you've never tried, is one of the best sweet treats ever. Something I was not aware of when I visited was that you apparently aren't able to return to the park once you leave. I got the single-day island pass, which includes admission to both the dry park and the water park. When I returned to the theme park later in the day to get a little bit more footage, the employee at the entrance told me that my ticket only grants one entry. Despite this, they allowed me to head back into the park for a bit. I just find it rather strange, as most parks stamp your hand at the gate or give you a receipt to hang on to if you plan on returning. Maybe I missed the hand stamp if they have one, but if they don't have this, I think that might be something that needs to be implemented, because leaving and returning to the park is a pretty common thing. If I'm wrong about this, someone let me know in the comments. Otherwise, be aware of this if you choose to make a visit here. Parking was free on the day of my visit, but on days that it isn't, the $10 parking fee has to be paid each time you return to the park. Once again, this is definitely something that might need to be remedied in the future if they want to get more people through the gate, as most parks let you right back in without having to pay a second time. The only other little thing about this park I feel should be improved on, but will take time to achieve, is the amount of shade in the park. Having been built in an area that used to be fields, all of the trees in this park were planted fresh, so they're still pretty small. I've heard that more artificial shading was added between seasons, so there's now more shading in the seating areas and in the ride queues. Despite some of the little things, I walked away from Lost Island very impressed. There aren't that many parks outside of the big chains that have put in this level of creativity to their theming. And of all of the places in the country a new theme park would show up in, I never would have thought it would be in the middle of Iowa. This is definitely a park that is worth checking out. Maybe not a park worth spending an entire day at, but still a very enjoyable park. I recommend getting the Island Pass when you visit so you can check out both parks. The Dry Park offers a solid variety with a small collection of rides that they have, and the Lost Island Water Park has been voted as one of the best in the country. This is a park that has so much potential to grow and develop into something pretty fantastic. But before it can get there, they need to get more people through the gate. I really do hope that more people start to come experience this park. If you haven't been yet, make it part of your next trip across Iowa. That's going to do it for this video. Let me know if you've visited Lost Island and what your thoughts are on this park. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content.